In this section, we'll take a look at adjustments that can be made if people start talking about impaired performance being related to stress or overwhelm or a sort of anxiety state. And again, as a manager, it's not your role to offer medical advice. There are professionals able to do that. And as an employee in the workplace, it's not reasonable to expect that your boss can or should offer you medical opinions about stress. However, it is reasonable these days to make some suggestions related to the management of stress. And these might, for example, include taking some time out to Google diaphragmatic breathing. This is where you breathe from the tummy and you squeeze all the air out, and then you bring fresh oxygen in. And this apparently has an effect on the levels of the stress chemicals in your body and can help you to feel more relaxed. But again, an expert in this field is the best person to start imparting the advice. Equally, guided visualization can be helpful. Some people like the idea of imagining, for example, that the stress in their head is like the movement in the branches of the trees, and it can be brought down through the body and dissipated safely, grounded away into the earth. Or imagine that their head is full of static electricity and there's a magnet underneath them, and they can turn that on, and that takes the fuzzy, crackly energy away, and they feel more calm. Or imagining, for example, that the head is like an egg timer, and the grains of sand moving from the top to the bottom represent fuzzy, stressed thoughts moving away from the system. Plenty of material out there online, and experts are available to help with guided visualization. It's simple and it isn't particularly expensive. Other suggestions when overwhelm, stress and anxiety come into play are sleep hygiene. And again, some of the suggestions that are being made, adjustments being made, are getting to bed at a reasonable time, not using screens before you go to bed, blacking out the light in the room, trying to sleep with maybe a headband on that blacks the light out so that your brain can normalize. Keeping the temperature in the room at about 18 degrees, which again seems to be the optimum temperature for getting a good night's sleep. Earplugs, sleeping in silence, maybe some weighted blanket is one suggestion. Listening to ambient music before you go to sleep. So again, if you start to recognize in the conversation that sleep is an issue, there's a lot that can be done to aid overwhelm and stress by getting a good night's sleep. And then of course there's diet. Again, if you're not a dietitian, don't make recommendations on diet, but do signpost ways in which individuals can get help, or you as the individual start to explore and start to look for people whose advice you can trust on how to avoid foodstuffs which are going to maybe inflame your system or keep you in a state of anxiety. And then of course there is exercise and sunlight and fresh air and getting out into nature. These all help. And then working in a quiet, well-lit, uninterrupted environment with the opportunity, if you start to feel that overwhelm is building up, to do what feels right for you. That might be to go for a short walk, or to agree a communication protocol with your manager and others that some short break is required to normalize your sense of, get back to a sense of equilibrium and calm. This might just be a simple nod or a gesture that says, I just need a few minutes, need to refresh my mental energy or physical energy, get a glass of water, get a healthy snack, that kind of thing. Again, nothing major. However, it might be that the discussion about stress and anxiety is one that can be moved on usually through human resources or through medical intervention, to get a deeper and more professional insight into what might be causing the underlying anxiety, and then for those people to carry out their role and help you get to the bottom of what is going on. It's not always that straightforward, but there are plenty of resources out there to help you deal with stress, overwhelm, and anxiety.